That's odd. Okay. So, what's going on? Come on, come on, come on, come on. Where is... Alright, there we go. Alright, so I hope that, oh man. So you guys see me well? I don't know if you guys can see what I'm seeing on the, okay. Alrighty. Sorry for the delay, guys, but, yeah, that I was trying to do the mobile hotspot and trying to figure out a way to get this to work on get this to work with what I had going on, but it's just not working out. So I really wanted to do this. I meant to do it obviously at 9 p.m. but wait, so okay. So I meant to do it at 9 p.m. but we ended up staying later at family's house, and then we had family over here, and ended up being a late night. But at least on the West Coast, it's still officially Christmas. But I just want to get this video in because I did all the research and had it all set up. Just a matter of getting live, and I have to do it from the phone. But tomorrow, Xfinity's coming under Amanda's name, and going to be putting the cable back on under her name, along with Wi-Fi. Hopefully there's not a problem with that, because I don't think she's ever had Xfinity. At least she doesn't think so. So I don't think that they would have scheduled an appointment had she had it. So I'm pretty sure tomorrow I'll be all good. I'll be on the laptop again. But this is the only way that I can do it for this video, and I'm going to try to keep it short. Let me say hello to a few people, and let's see. So we have, okay, so Joe Shields, how you doing, brother? Thank you for letting me know you're seeing me. Sherry, there's 5 of me. Yeah, those are the that's the screen sharing. Although, you know what, that's kind of now I'm thinking of it, that's actually overkill. I don't need all that. I mean, right? Like the screen, I don't have to do that because I could just, unless they like change the way they're doing it. How do I get rid of this? Oh, maybe I could just minimize it. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get rid of that the screen here, or at least minimize it. How do you? I'm sorry. You know what? This isn't the time for all this. I just wanted to go live. I knew there'd be problems because I had to re-download this. I thought I wouldn't have to use this again. But you know what? Whatever. I'll figure it out. Okay. So, let's see. Yeah, it looks complicated. It's really not. But, yeah, they do make it seem complicated on here. I would love to get rid of that. Man, I'd love to get rid of that. Come on. See, this is just layers. I don't care about that. I mean, there should be a button just for that. wish I could just get rid of it, but that would just be right there. So at least that won't be in the way, I don't think. Just bear with me, you know what? This is really getting ridiculous. Okay. There should be something down here. No, don't want that. Okay, so down here, I should be able to... What a pain in the ass. Is that the only way to... That's so weird. The camera should be at the top. Alright. That should be better. Okay. That should be a lot better. Okay, and then when I want to share screen, you know what I'll do? I know exactly what I'll do. So what we're going to talk about is Christmas. And we're going to talk about the origins of Christmas, where it comes from. It's dripping in paganism. That phrase at the beginning of this, I owe Saturnalia. We'll talk about that. And you know what? Let's jump right into it. So I'm going to screen share right now. Although it used to be a lot easier to screen share, it's so weird. It used to be so easy to screen share on here. Let me see. Oh, sorry, that's Philly. Oops. Wrong button. Alright, so you know what I'll do? I know what I'll do. I got it. I know what to do. Okay. Add screen. Start now. Alright. Alright, so you're not going to see me anymore, but you should see the screen. Or you're about to see the screen. Because that's the whole reason I'm doing this, so I can share this with you guys. Okay. So, please, if you could, now, I have up something right now. I just need you guys to tell me, can you guys see that? Could you guys see that right there? What I was just sharing? Just all you guys couldn't see the... Alright, then I have to do it like this. You still see me? Okay. You guys should be able to see this. And what did they change this whole thing? They legit changed it. That's so weird. Yeah, you still see me. So weird. Alright, you know what? I have an idea here. How is this? I must have the wrong. This is the same thing I had before, though. You know what? I have an idea. Screen over that. Okay. So now, there we go. Alright, here we go. That should do it. Okay. So I have this up. Okay, so can you guys read that? It says the date of December 25th. Can you guys see that? Can you just give me a yes or no? Please. I'm gonna. But you guys could see that though, right? You guys couldn't see what I was just sharing on the screen? Okay, yes. Okay, good. Alright. Alright, let's get the show on the road. Alright, so alright. So the date of December 25th is to celebrate Christ's birth and was chosen to conform to the old pagan Roman holidays called Saturnalia and Brumalia. The ancient Romans kept these holidays around the time of the shortest day of the year, the winter solstice. Here are some excerpts about this festival from the book of the Bible by Rydell Tracy. And okay, so because the Roman Emperor fixed December 25th for the winter solstice holiday in AD 274, which we talked about before, it is thought that the early Christians adopted that day for their Christ Mass, so that their Christ Mass, so that they could, and look how they spell it, so that they would be less conspicuous in the observance of their holiday. So basically, the reason they adopted them that early on, I mean, we're talking 274, about, roughly 240 some odd years after Jesus died. So it's really, it's because they were being persecuted by the Romans. So let's see. Most scholars believe that the birthday of Jesus was never known and that the December date was chosen solely for convenience. The earliest known observance of Christmas on December 25th was the year AD 336 in Rome, as recorded in a calendar of the period. Throughout antiquity, other dates for the birth were advanced. They had it once on March 25th. They had it on April 19th. They said it was November 17th, among others, but there is no evidence, literary or historical, that supports any of these dates. And like I said, I've heard two different dates. One, it's basically two times, early to mid-September, and also I've heard in the spring, basically in like mid-March or something like that. It's the spring. I think it's actually late March to early April, sometime around there. I believe those are the two periods that I heard. Different historians say different things. Almost everywhere in Europe, in both Roman and Teutonic. So anyway, I'm gonna get. All right. So check this out. I want to get to some of this interesting stuff. Okay, so the origin of the Christmas tree is usually traced to Saint Boniface, who in the 8th century persuaded the Teutonic tribes to abandon worship of the sacred oak of Odin. You guys know Odin, the god Odin. It's like a Nordic god, right? A remnant of Druidism, and to confer it, instead of the fear, a more appropriate symbol of Jesus and eternal life. So it seems basically like in the early days, in order to get the Christians were a small group. They're persecuted, right? So they want to get the Druids to believe in Jesus. They want to get the pagans to come to believe in Jesus. They want to get the Romans to come believe in Jesus. They want to get like all these different religions and groups of people. The Greeks, the Germans. They want to get them into their religious and spread the word of Jesus. And in order to do that, they had to adapt some of the traditions, dates, and customs that these people were accustomed to. So it makes sense in that sense. But the fact that we don't realize that, or most of us don't realize this stuff, and we have continued these traditions when they have nothing to do with Jesus or Christianity, outside of people using these things basically to represent Christianity in a false way in order to persuade people to join it because it was such a small movement at the time. I mean, that's the only thing it has to do with Christianity is basically the history of it, how it kind of molded into what we have today. And so let's continue. More essential in eternal life. And then it says, trees, however, have been used in pagan, idolatrous, idolatrous worship. And you know what they say, worship no idol. Yeah, here we are with the pagan idol worship for many thousands of years. And trees, again, have been something in particular that they used for idol worship. Numerous references to this can be found throughout the Old Testament. Kings 14:23, 1 Kings, 2 Kings 16:2-24, Chronicles 2 Chronicles 28:4, Samuel 40, chapter 40, 18-20. Also, chapter 57, verse 5, chapter 66, verse 17, Jeremiah, chapter 20, verse 20. And we'll get into some of these specific ones. But there's so much Jeremiah, Ezekiel. It's in all these books. So is it not ironic that Christians celebrate Christmas? Christians are by name followers of Christ. And he says nothing in his word about memorializing his birth year after year. There's not one thing in the Bible about memorializing his birth year after year. Yet we consider it the most, maybe not us, what truth is, but let's be honest. Christians in general and basically the world at large, when they think of Christians, they think the biggest holiday for Christians is Christmas, which isn't even his birthday. But even if we were able to find out his exact birth date, whether it be that September day, that early to mid-September date, or that, early spring date, whether it's one of those, even if we knew the exact day, it says nothing in the Bible to worship the day of his birth. It blows me away the more and more you read into this. So the Bible is quite clear that the day of one's death is more important. And you know what? So right here, here's straight from the Bible, because I wanna make sure that I reference the Bible as much as I can. Come on, don't be slow on me. Let's go. Come on. All right. All right. God gives some insight and counsel. Death, he says, is good for the heart. The heart beats at our core. Attending one good funeral can shape a person's worldview more positively than a whole year's worth of parties. Verse 3 may be better on. Oh, this is a translation. I want to read the actual. Oh, so these are. Okay. Why is the day of death better? At birth, a person is largely a blank slate. His reputation is nothing, apart from his connection with mother and father, mom and dad. So his name is little more than a mere label. However, at his death, he has built either a good reputation or a bad one. I don't really like how they I want to read it actually word for word. In Corinthians states, for godly sorrow produces repentance leading to salvation, not to be regretted, but the sorrow of the world produces death. Anyways, you know what? There's some other ones that I really want to get into. So since we were talking about some of the they don't have those ones highlighted. Okay, and certainly Christ's death is particularly more important for our salvation and the fulfillment of God's plan and his birth. Again, Romans. Without strength means powerless. Wait, I don't like how they do this. Okay, here we go. I'm sorry. At the top is where they have the actual. For when we were yet without strength, in due time, Christ died for the ungodly. For scarcely for a righteous man will one die, yet peradventure for a good man some would even dare to die. But God commandeth his love toward us, and in that, while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. And basically, it's getting at exactly what we're talking about. It's not the birth, it's the death. Whether it's us, and certainly when it comes to Christ, obviously. Do you see how this is like, it's like the devil lies in the details. It's like the birth of Christ. We celebrate the births of great men, maybe, but like Christ, I mean, it's all about the death of Christ. I mean, I understand the Immaculate Conception and all that, but it's about the death of Christ. That's the good word you want to spread, is that he died for our sins. The blood of Jesus, it started a whole new era. No more having to sacrifice lambs for your sins. So anyways, we'll continue. So how did Christians come to believe that God approves of them celebrating Christmas? The answer is not as simple as one might think. Well, that's because there's a lot of evil throughout the years involved in this, as well as just simply just time, and men make mistakes. They water down their own religion just to get more people to follow their religion, especially when they're being persecuted. It seems like that's some of the mistakes that were made early on, along with popes being appointed by emperors, so they're going to be friendly to the pagans. And, there's so many mistakes throughout history with this stuff. The Knights Templar, the Crusades, the hiding of secret knowledge, so much stuff. And then modern day, like Catholicism, what's going on with the church and the molestation and touching of boys. And it's just, it goes on and on and on. And that's because the devil was given dominion over the earth. He's not ultimately in power, but he was given dominion. I mean, the one in ultimate power, obviously, is God. He could do whatever he wants. But it is true. A lot of you guys know this. The devil has dominion over earth. All right, let's continue. The answer is not okay. It involves a minor controversy within today's scattered Church of God, which is why I don't like all the denominations. I just say I'm a born-again Christian. Who are the Nicolaitans? Believe it or not, the Nicolaitans are in part responsible for Christianity's acceptance of Christmas. I've never met a Nicolaitan. How about you guys? I mean, obviously they're probably from way back in the day, and not exactly around anymore. Yet what they wanted to do was have Christmas, and probably have Christmas when they did have Christmas. It sounds like they have something to do with Saint Nick as well. I'm just guessing. I don't know that. The Nicolaitans, you know what I mean? So, and even though they don't seem to be a denomination that's around anymore, or a group of people that really is practicing or well known, what they wanted has lived on and has affected all of our lives immensely. Christianity's acceptance of Christmas, Easter, Halloween, and other unbiblical practices, more importantly, Nicolaitanism, representative of a much broader philosophy, can be blamed for the organized and systematic removal of God's law as a central pillar of the Christian way of life. These things happen because of an attitude and approach to the truth found in the Nicolaitan heresy. All right, so the word Christmas means Mass of Christ, or as it came to be shortened, Christ's Mass. It came to non-Christians and Protestants from the Roman Catholic Church. And where did they get it? Not from the New Testament, not from the Bible, not from the original apostles who were personally instructed from Christ, but it gravitated in the 4th century into the Roman Church from, you guessed it, paganism. Since the celebration of Christmas has come to the world from the Roman Catholic Church and has no authority but that of the Roman Catholic Church, let us examine the Catholic Encyclopedia, 1911 edition, published by that church under the heading, Christmas You Will Find. Christmas was not among the earliest festivals of the church. The first evidence of the feast is from Egypt. Pagan customs centering around the January calends, meaning like calendar days, gravitated to Christmas. And in the same encyclopedia, under the heading Natal Day, we find that the early Catholic father, Origen, acknowledged this truth. In the scriptures, no one is recorded to have kept a feast or held a great banquet on his birthday. It is only sinners like Pharaoh and Herod who make great rejoices over the day in which they were born into this world. I think I said that Herod, that you guys know the stories about him and what he was willing to do to children. It's pretty crazy, some of the stuff when you read on him. And here we go. Encyclopedia Britannica, 1946 edition, has this. Christmas, the Mass of Christ. Christmas was not among the earliest festivals of the church. It was not instituted by Christ or the apostles or by the Bible authority. It was picked up afterwards from paganism. So they're going to keep on hopping on that same thing. How did this pagan custom creep into the Western Christian world? So right here they explain it clearly. In its article on Christmas, how much the date of the festival depended upon the pagan Brumalia, December 25th, following the Saturnalia, which at one point they had it down to one day, but it's really a week. It's a whole week. This one says December 17th to the 24th. Although I've also seen the 17th to the 23rd. I've seen different versions, but it's all based around the winter solstice and paganism. And we have Brumalia on December 25th and Saturnalia December 17th to 24th. I have seen 20 to 23rd as well, but it depends on what you're looking at. And celebrating the shortest day in the year, which is the winter solstice, and the new sun. No, not like the Lord Father and the Son of God. No, the new sun, S-U-N, the sun in the sky. Yeah, sun worshippers. S-U-N, sun worshippers. Yeah, pagan style. Cannot be accurately determined. The pagan Saturnalia and Brumalia were too deeply entrenched in popular custom to be set aside by Christian influence. And that's what I was saying before. That's what it seems like. That's what I'm finding, is that in the early days of Christianity, and not even that early, I mean, throughout the Christianity, it's just been that in order to spread the word of Jesus, they were willing to adopt the more popular cultures and religions of the day into their own religion to make it an easier transition for those people. And, and that's the thing. God can create. The only thing the devil can do is manipulate. And that's exactly what it sounds like the devil has been doing to Christianity for thousands of years. The pagan festival, with its riot and merrymaking, was so popular that Christians were glad of an excuse to continue its celebration with little change in spirit and in manner. Christian preachers of the West and the Near East protested against the unseemly frivolity with which Christ's birthday was celebrated, while Christians of Mesopotamia, which is present-day Iraq, accused their Western brethren of idolatry. It sounds like they were right. Idolatry and sun worship for adopting as Christian this pagan festival. And of course, they're talking about Saturnalia. Remember, the Roman world had been pagan. Prior to the 4th century, Christians were few in number, though increasing, and were persecuted by the government and by pagans. But with the advent of Constantine as emperor, who made his profession of Christianity in the 4th century, placing Christianity on an equal footing with paganism, people of the Roman world began to accept this now popular Christianity by the hundreds of thousands. But remember, these people had grown up in pagan customs, chief of which was this idolatrous festival of December 25th. It was a festival of merrymaking with its special spirit. They enjoyed it. They did not want to give it up. Now this same... So, all right, we'll continue. All right. And so here's another one that explains how the recognition by Constantine of Sunday, which had been the day of pagan... Oh, this is something... This is... All right, so... Now, the same article in this Encyclopedia of Religious Knowledge explains how the recognition by Constantine of Sunday, which had been the day of pagan sun worship, because you guys, I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard how Saturday is supposed to actually be the day that, they turned it into Sunday, yet Saturday is the day that we should be resting, and instead of Sunday. So, which had been the day of pagan sun worship, and how the influence of pagan Manichaeism, which identified the Son of God with the physical sun, So the S-O-N, Son of God, with the physical S-U-N in the sky, Son, gave these pagans of the 4th century, now turning over the wholesale to Christianity, their excuse for calling their pagan festival date of December 25th, birthday of the sun god. You see that? So it's the son of God, but you see, and especially back then, I mean, the way people learned things was just, somebody on like forget about a soapbox, just some guy preaching. I mean, a lot of people were illiterate, it's just, it was about the sun god and their pagan traditions that they already had. And that was the birthday of the Son of God, although it really wasn't. But that was at least their way of transitioning, in an easy way. It's kind of like, actually, I don't want to give that example. It's kind of distasteful. And that is how Christmas became fastened on our Western world. We may call it by another name, but it is the same old pagan sun-worshipping festival still. The only change is in what we call it. You can call a rabbit a lion, but it is still a rabbit, just the same. And so, let's see, anything else good in here? All right, so let's continue on this line. So we started off with where one got it, and then where they got it from. So if we got Christmas from the Roman Catholics and they got it from paganism, where did the pagans get it? Where, when, and what was its real origin? It is the chief custom of the corrupt system denounced all through Bible prophecies and teachings under the name of, yep, you guessed it, Babylon. And it started and originated in the original Babylon of the ancient, you guessed it again, Nimrod. Which, by the way, when those boys invaded Iraq, or, what was back then, Mesopotamia, Nimrod's tomb, word is, they got some DNA out of it. What do you think they were able to do with that? And I have a show coming up on one of these DNA companies. Well, they're involved in this show. And you know what? I'll bring that up then, and we'll revisit Nimrod. But it's going to blow your mind. Yes, it stems from roots whose beginning was shortly. By the way, guys, if you guys are making comments, I can't see, so I hope everything's going well. And I'm just about done with this. And this is a long read, but that's why I did this one first. And then after that, I have more visually stimulating things and shorter ones. But this one's a good place to stop because it kind of goes through basically in chronological order how we got where we are. But it kind of goes backwards. It kind of starts today and it goes back. And okay, where did those Christians get it from? Well, if the Christians got it from the Romans, where the Romans got it from? Or they got it from the pagans, where the pagans got it from? Well, it all goes back to Babylon and Nimrod, which is exactly what you would expect. So, like I said, original Babylon of ancient Nimrod. Yes, it stems from roots whose beginning was shortly this side of the flood. Nimrod, grandson of Ham, son of Noah, was the real founder of the Babylonish system that has gripped the world ever since. The system of organized competition of man-ruled governments and empires, based upon the competitive and profit-making economic system, Nimrod built the Tower of Babel. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with all this, but if you don't know about the Tower of Babel, this is what worries me about some of the present-day They say it'll be like in the, with the end days and Revelation, they talk about, it'll be like in the days of Noah. Well, in the days of Noah, they had the Tower of Babel, they had Nimrod, and basically they brought all these different cultures. They had not just cultures, but I mean they had giants. They had the fallen angels mixing with the females of this earth, and they had these like multicultural and multi language, all and just sin. What we would view as sin, but to them it was just all about sex and just the most disgusting stuff you could think of. Yes, this is the way it was, and it was so bad, and they started messing with the creation of God. And that's when God sent the flood. And when I see now, it looks like almost like a present day Babylon, a present day Tower of Babel. Especially when you look at like the AI, that could be and when you see the inside of a D-Wave and the chip the way it is, it's like a present day Tower of Babel. So, all right.
That's a. This is on there, right?
Okay, so I'm sorry, I lost my place. Oh, okay. So the original Babylon, ancient. I always have trouble with this word, by the way. Nineveh, many other cities. You like, for instance, like think of like Sodom and Gomorrah. Okay. He organized the world's first kingdom. The name Nimrod in Hebrew is derived from Marad, meaning he rebelled. From many ancient writings, considerable is learned of this man who started the great. And by the way, back then people supposedly lived not 85 to 110 years like is possible today. I think I read that the average age of death, but that, you know what, it's kind of hard because with the epidemic, with the drugs and just a lot of things, cars, car accidents, the murders, and mainly it's the opioid epidemic, but the average age for death is something like 62 or something like that. I even seen it younger, like 57, but I think that was more locally around here. But that's just because, a lot of 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds dying from drugs kind of cancel out some of the, 90-year-olds. And then you have people who just die kind of early anyways. But I think when you take out, those types of deaths, tragedy like accidents, things like that. When it comes to illness and things like that, I think the average age was something like 75, 76, maybe a little bit higher. But basically, you can expect to live as a human, let's say 80 to 100 years. I like to say like life expectancy 85. If you make it to 85, you did real good. Whereas back then, people lived for thousands of years. Thousands of years. So imagine what he was able to do. Imagine you had many, 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 many lifetimes. We're talking, like 10 to 15 lifetimes, 10 to 20 lifetimes. It's unbelievable when you think about it. Even more than that, 10 to like 50 lifetimes. Who knows? It's just unbelievable. Imagine what you could do with that. and I don't think that, they were only young for the first, I bet you they aged in that same way, around 100 years old, you're still in your prime, or you might even be young. I wonder how that would work out if we were to take the Bible literally. I wonder how that worked out. For instance, Adam and Eve, they didn't age at all. They were just, they were created, and they were in their prime years, and we're gonna stay that age forever until, you know that apple was bitten, and that was the end of that. So let's see. So learned of this man who started the great organized worldly apostasy from God that has dominated this world until now. Nimrod was so evil, it is said he married his own mother. Which, to be honest, I think back then, that is pretty crazy. I mean, you hear people marrying their sister and cousins. I was going to say, you know what, back then, that's not so crazy. I was thinking sister, mother, that's right, he married his mother. And I think he actually he had to kill his father first, though, in order to, claim his own mom. He killed his father, if I remember correctly. It probably mentions it in here anyways. So, yeah, let me repeat that. Nimrod was so evil, it is said he married his own mother, whose name was Semiramis. You guys have probably heard of her. If not, very crazy, crazy story with her, too. After Nimrod's untimely death, his so-called mother/wife, Semiramis, propagated the evil doctrine of the survival of Nimrod as a spirit being. She claimed a full-grown evergreen tree sprang overnight from a dead tree stump, which symbolized the springing forth unto new life of the dead Nimrod. On each anniversary of his birth, not death, but birth, she claimed, Nimrod would visit the evergreen tree and leave gifts upon it. You hear that? This is where the pagans got all this. All right? The pagans didn't just pull this out of the thin air. All right? These ideas didn't grow on trees. No pun intended. Well, pun intended somewhat. But, all right, this is where the pagans got it. Let me repeat that just so you guys get that. So she claims a full-grown evergreen tree sprang overnight from a dead tree stump, which symbolized the springing forth unto new life of the dead Nimrod. On each anniversary of his birth, again, not his death, but his birth, she claimed Nimrod would visit the evergreen tree and leave gifts upon it. And guess when his birthday was? You guessed it, December 25th. December 25th was the birthday of Nimrod, as it says. This is the real origin of the Christmas tree. And wait until you see what it says in the Bible. It talks directly about this. This is not BS. If this is blowing your mind, this isn't BS. This is directly spoken about in the Bible. That's why I said I'm not cutting down no tree and bringing it in my house. Anyways, through her scheming and designing, and the green tree, all the evergreen and all that. Yeah, that's why, I did have that little mini fake white thing, like Goodfellas, but when you start reading some of this stuff, it makes you realize a lot. That, this is really interesting. Let me continue. Though her scheming and designing, Semiramis became the Babylonian Queen of Heaven. This is the Babylonian Queen of Heaven. And Nimrod, under various names, became the divine Son of Heaven. Do you guys see what's going on here? Do you see? Through the generations, in his idolatrous, and idol worship, Nimrod became the false Messiah. And there's going to be another one. There's going to be another false prophet, another Antichrist. And how funny that we just happen to get the DNA of Nimrod. What if they put that DNA into a sentient being they create with artificial intelligence as a brain? But with the soul of Nimrod through the DNA, and you see that stuff, CRISPR? The CRISPR? If you guys don't want to talk about, if you don't know, we'll talk about, that's another show coming up. CRISPR. Look it up. But we'll be doing a show on it anyways. Alright, so that's already in my notebook. Alright, let me continue. This stuff's amazing. Okay. It's not good by any means, but I think it's very important information. Extremely, probably it's the most important information, I would say. So Nimrod became the false Messiah, son of Baal, Baal, B-A-L. You guys heard of Baal, B-A-L? Yeah, I'm sure you have. The sun god. In this false Babylonish system, the mother and child, Semiramis and Nimrod reborn, became chief objects of worship. This worship of mother and child spread all over the world. The name varied in different countries and languages. In Egypt, it was Isis and Osiris. In Asia, it was Cybele, and forgive me if I get this wrong, and Deus. In pagan Rome, Fortuna and Jupiter Pure. Even in Greece, China, Japan, Tibet is to be found the counterpart of the Madonna long before the birth of Christ. Thus, the rest such a Babylon. Yeah, it's my opinion. Based on a city features. That's why we need to wake things all our lives have been taught question to see where they came from. And it is bound up in the organized apostasy. Egypt, it was also believed that the son of Isis. Same story in Egypt. Egypt, it was also believed that the son of Isis. Same story in Egypt. This Semiramis, meaning that her sons, unfortunately, cry aloud their transgression. That thing, as these facts. So to sum it up, basically, true Christians never celebrated Christ's birthday at any command or it or not. Well, we know that now. Thus, idol worship of Nimrod had been handed down through it. Then to Christians allowed it to, and at the time, well, hey, getting the word out about Jesus and learn so much, but the manipulator, fallen angel, the manipulator, and okay, pagans, the mistletoe was used at this festival power. The pagan custom celebrating the death of the old sun and the birth of the solstice. Right? And sun god in the sky. A pagan symbol of the sun. I'm sure you guys have seen that symbol. Yet today, speak of this. I wanted to do this at night and not during the day. And continuation of the pagan custom, encouraging, the Kana says, the holly, the mistletoe, are relics. What else we got here? Era. So Exodus chapter 20, verse 2 through 6. God does care according to his standard and not our own. So I don't like being summed up. I want to, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, have other gods before me. Thou shalt not do thee any. So even as a Catholic young man, go to the little Catholic church they'd have there. Even image. I mean, this trick in the world has been of it. You think this is all by mistake? You think dual done and people have been laws and the word of God? I mean, a day. It's really Saturday. Here. So it clearly demonstrates that when God's people do not keep, they lose their liberty. The Sabbath is given by God to keep his people free. It is the day to keep people from going back into bondage, to keeping his people free. On this day, he has pointedly performed. Let me say, because I'm stay away from any particular denomination. So another one, themselves together onto Aaron and said unto him, that brought us up out of the land of Egypt. We wot not, said unto them, break off the golden earrings. And all the people break off the golden earrings in their ears, and brought them unto, received them at molten calf, and they said, O Israel, which nation, and said, tomorrow is a feast to the Lord. Sat down to eat and to drink, and rose up to play. Unto Moses themselves, they have turned aside the way which I commanded them. They have made them a thereunto, and said, O Israel, I brought thee up out of the land. The laws that they were very well aware of. I think Moses, sure, Moses wanted nothing to do with it. Went about these worshiping the golden, the molten calf, is it? Let me see. Sorry, let me just. And then I'm gonna get off of this little website really quick, if I could do it. Okay. Here we go. Fear not. Charger. Sorry, I just had to put the charger in. And then I'm gonna start flying. And with a molten calf, and have worshipped it, and have sacrificed thereunto, and said, there be what they said, by the way. It is a stiff-necked people. Now let me alone. You guys see what the problem there, and this one said there, but it's Christmas and Easter to worship Christ, but they are all according to their only revealed. Even though we may know better, those who worship him must worship in truth. Supposed to tattoo the body either. It's like a desecration of this by truth, and I try to speak truth. I have I think I was 16, or at least like truly what the Bible said. I thought, oh, truth, and I got that tattooed on my body, and that's something. I have a lot of tattoos, a little different. The fullest of God's intent as revealed with every act serves us better at this way. But even though Jesus' birth is celebrate, like that's actually what you're supposed to look back at, the life of somebody, and you can kind of good things. Mary being a virgin. Yes. Although there's some debate as to that whole story as well, but not saint. And I said, I understand why they don't celebrate, but I never understood why they. I don't know. This is almost like making me feel a little bit different towards it. To have those things and that feeling. That's on God. I just hope she makes it to that age. Not that, but I do worry about her. And where AI is going with translating brains into computers. Of the AI or the action. This is something else. I had to be too late. But I'm gonna take calls soon. I just have so many shows to do. Any still reason observe it to honor Christ. And I could see how someone can make that argument. I mean, it's one person made that exact argument to me today. Like I said, so personal. Them. And when he says them, he means the pagans. And I'll inquire, no, Lord thy God, about, an abomination to which he hateth, done onto them to do anyways. That's how I took that, at least. So Jesus, word, the holy system, or manner of worship, and try to. Again, Jesus says, in vain they do worship me. That's present day Christianity. These pagan, and which their whole idea. Jesus knew in vain. It wasn't teaching for doctrines the commandments of the tradition of men, and the commandments of God as God. I want to switch polytheism, implying its inferiority. Now, mind you, this is from Google, so that is right. See that Stonehenge? Are they not with the pentagram? Right here, you have a pentagram. This reminds me of the Serpent Mount, and paganism make a comeback, and I think it actually is. Paganism is. I mean, look at this. Look at the Cernunos. You ever wonder why they named CERN? CERN, the large. That's about the Mandela effect. I don't believe in the Mandela effect. I'm sorry, I just don't. I really don't believe it. What I do believe is that what they're up to at CERN is. I mean, we have here we have Cernunos, but you notice he has antlers. He's a horned god. And they became horns. It seems to be. You remember I was talking earlier about that symbol? That's the oh man, I'm tired. I just said it. So October 31st, oaked wheel that represents the sun god. When we were just talking about that, that's Samhain, December 19th to 22nd. Hence the Yule Christmas Carol. Ugh. And then you have February as well. Then you have Ostara, March 19th, May 1st, May Day. That happens to be May Day. Beltane, obviously the winter solstice. What is that symbol for the summer solstice? It's during the time of Cancer, but there's two of them. Mine of Gemini, which I know somebody. No, I'm very interested to hear what you guys say, because there's something to that birthday. So, which of course is the Knox. Get what it's all about. But yeah, so that's what we have. Also searching for Wicca, Satanism, polytheism, shamanism, and DMT on his podcast. Each show he does gets like 6 million to 20. More than any one of his episodes is more than something on TV. This is what they're connected to with people. And by the way, I try to get like information from Wikipedia. Is Christmas a pagan holiday? We know the answer to that. Are you guys still with me? Are you kidding me? Wait. Could it be suffering that bad? I believe the good thing I checked. I had a feeling this might happen. Legit knowledge. I was trying to give to you guys. All right, guys. So you guys couldn't hear me reading all that. That wasn't working. So that wasn't working, guys. This. That stuff I'm saying. Oh, so Joe Buffer. Saturnalia and the origin / mother SUN. Unbelievable one, but the first one left out because they were talking about. And I have other shows that was like crazy. I have to. If they're not gonna from the computer to watch, that way no buffering. Then once the Wi-Fi is back up, I'll load it up. That way you guys get so much, and I still had so much uploads, or lives, and this is crazy. The whole time like that. 2 lives tomorrow. Do a different live with Q, but I'm just gonna have big stuff going on, and I'll just include in the news to Q. If you guys don't like Q, you can start the video. So I guess the only thing I could do is upload it. For some reason, sometimes when it's buffering, but who knows? It probably in the world that they many different things that they don't want to the dim above all the sun on, and that doesn't mean there's anything in the origins wiping it clean. And I was talking when I lived in Worcester, these people were so Good Friday. That was like a fake situation where they fake the Christmas and all that BS. But oh man, you know what? I'm like putting my heart and soul into something. Thank you for sticking with me, guys. I don't know. We'll see what they do. Hearing if I upload it, it'll work that way.